Hello everyone, guten Tag. Guten Tag. I am Nathanael Lessore. I am an author, a writer who wrote a book called Study for This. I wrote it during lockdown, mainly because I was a little bit bored and I watched everything and just wanted to use my writing degree and actually finish something. And then very thankfully and luckily that book was picked up, and I hope anyone who reads it enjoys it. I'm based in London in Peckham, which is where Rio Ferdinand, the footballer, grew up, where Top Boy is set. A few London rappers like Giggs are from the area. Tiny Temper, maybe, if you remember him from a while ago. That's me. And I'm going to be answering a few questions. My novel Study for This is about a very terrible MC. He is a rapper who is filming himself because he wants to enter raptology. So he's filming himself and his friend rapping. And because he wants to impress a girl at school, he live streams it to the entire school. And during the live stream, his mum comes in and interrupts him with holds up a pooey pair of underwear, which is obviously the most embarrassing thing that could happen. Growls and his friend suddenly, they're just mocked by the entire school. And his friend Shanks falls ill, and Growls himself, like, he's getting evicted. And he enters raptology in the end to use the winnings to stop himself from being evicted. He also meets Siobhan, who is she's like an incredible, she's just a super boss character, and she teaches him a lot about life. And it's a story, I guess, about relationships, kind of relationships, overcoming confidence. There's topics in there like teenage mental health, young carers. It touches on, everything from, race to the cost of living crisis. Here in London, everything costs quite a lot of money right now, and families are feeling the pinch, so it's very difficult to travel and eat, and so it deals with that and the impact on children. There's quite I would say like a handful of important relevant topics that affect teenagers here in London, a lot. What made me want to write it, as in what made me want to write a story, is that, like I said, I got very bored in lockdown, and I watched everything on Netflix and Amazon Prime and Now TV. And I was even so bored that I started recording myself in scenes from Disney films. And I thought that, this is impossible. Just write a book, because I have a degree in creative writing, and I didn't think I was going to be a writer. So I just went into marketing because that was what I thought at the time, that the only way to make money with a writing degree. And I was wrong. And what made me write Study for This, this story, I think a lot of books and TV shows about growing up in London estate and in I guess relative poverty, it's always dark and sad stories, whereas my childhood and my kind of experience growing up in an estate and in an underprivileged area was that it was very, very, very fun and funny, and there was no sadness of oh no, we're poor and everyone's a criminal, that's not what it was. I guess you can't be sad about being poor if everyone around you is poor, you don't even realize. And so I wanted to write something that is authentic, that teenagers who grew up in like me, something that they can relate to, because life was just, funny and fun and playful. And that was, I just wanted to write something really real and true. And there are a lot of scenes in the book that are actually based on real life experiences, unbelievably, you might say. And yeah, so that was it. It was written to be authentic. I cannot rap at all. I have no musical or rhythmic talent. I can't rap. I can't sing or dance. Or can I sing? Sing. No, like it's terrible. But I can write terrible lyrics and fun lyrics. And I think at the beginning of the story, MC Growls is not very good at rapping, and so that I was very good at. But then later on, because through English lessons with Mr. X and listening to rappers in the story, by the end of it, he needs to win a rap competition, and so he actually needed to progress. And so I had lots of rappers and MCs, like real ones, and musicians, singers who could actually, like songwriters who actually did help make my silly lyrics a lot more musical. And so, yeah, I cannot rap, but I know people who can, and thankfully they help me out. And do I have a favorite rapper? I don't. I've got a few, because I was born in 1990, and so I grew up listening to Eminem, Dr. Dre, kind of early Snoop, and so they had a big influence on me growing up. And I guess nowadays, a bit more contemporary. I think rappers who tell a story are the ones that I really love. So people like J. Cole. I think Kendrick Lamar is extremely poetic, and so I think he's quality. And in terms of those are the American rappers, I think British rap is coming, or has come a long way. I think people like Dave the rapper is incredible, and my friends are always arguing about who's better between Dave and a rapper called Getz. Getz is Getts, and his flow and his lyrics, I think mainly are they just amaze me. And so those, I guess, are my favorite rappers, and I can't pick out of them. Again, I think Growls and Shanks's relationship, it was so fun to write because they're both a little bit silly. I think Growls is a lot more silly, actually. And I like, in terms of their banter and their conversations between them, I like writing the more serious character getting a little bit annoyed at the less serious character, a bit like kind of Laurel and Hardy in that way. And so for me, writing those conversations was so fun. And I think in terms of what their relationship is it's just inspired by my own relationships. My friends are family. I've got people who I chill with frequently, now as a 30-year-old, who actually, I already told you my date of my I told you what year as well. Hopefully none of you are good at maths, but yeah, no, my friends are who I've been chilling with since primary school. They are like family. They're my brothers, and so I think being able to openly say I love you to them is I think that kind of transparent relationship, because I think lots of people know you love them, but I think to actually say it out loud, frequently, as long as you mean it, it is something that I think is very, very, very special to me. So my personal relationship with my friends and family, and any relationship, I guess, I think being able to openly communicate how much I love them is something that I always kind of like try to do, and so that is reflected in growls as well. And yeah, I think telling people you love how much you love them is like, it's just, for me, it's you know, it's good practice. I don't even know if it's yeah, you know, it is a funny book. I don't think I'm particularly funny, but I do think the book is funny. Like, I can still open it, and stuff inside it makes me laugh. Um, yeah, I think it's a funny book because Growl, it's mainly Growl's character. You know, he gets so much wrong, and his head is in the clouds. You know, like he's always he's always miles away from reality. I think, you know, until you know, people like Siobhan and his English teacher and his kind of like school counselor, until they try to, you know, ground him to the real world, which is also important for his development. But yeah, I think it despite, you know, all of the real world issues that kids in London are dealing with, like young carers and money problems, and, you know, mental health as well is another big one, as well as, like, kind of, you know, I think you know, Grouse does become more aware of how he's perceived in terms of his race as well throughout the book, and so I think like nothing, like, yeah, I think what I'm trying to say is because in my own life, I have emotional beats as well as in the writing, you know, so nothing lasts forever. You know, if I'm sad for 5 minutes, hopefully I'll be happy, you know, for 5 minutes later on, you know, and so I think it's trying to reflect, you know, the emotions of you know, the life that I grew up in. You know, things weren't amazing all the time, and things weren't, you know, dark and scary all the time. And I think I do align with Growls in that I do see lots of fun and opportunities for joy kind of everywhere. And I think that's true of, you know, in people and situations. And so, yeah, I think serious topics doesn't mean serious life, you know, necessarily. I think there is fun where it's made, you know. Again, I just go back to, like, trying, like, to make the book as authentic to real life as possible. And I think, like, I've read books about teenagers where, like, the author is writing kind of how they think, like, you can always see when adults think children or teenagers talk in a certain way, and they try to reflect it rather than, you know, actually listening to teenagers. And so I stopped playing music on the bus and on the train, so I could, like, actually listen to, you know, the slang in context. And I did have a younger brother and cousin helping me throughout the book, who would read it and say, like, oh no, you sound too old, like, we don't say this anymore. And, like, yeah, so I had lots of you know, actual young people telling me, you know, what is actually authentic or not. And so yeah, I think it was important, especially if I'm trying to give kids who grew up like me a representation of themselves. I think it needs to be as true as possible. And what makes Southeast London slang so special? I don't know. Like, I I like slang in general because I like playfulness in language, and I think that's basically what slang is, isn't it? It's being playful. It's playing around with words and phrases and taking stuff, like putting words in a different context, I guess. And so I think the South London slang does play a lot to that. If I hear something that I don't understand, I kind of like with teenagers and young people, I just try to get it through context, and I think that's always a very fun thing to do. And South East London slang is also not to be confused with East London and Cockney. We have different accents. I'm not sure if you can hear. Like Cockney is more like a Guy Ritchie film, which is like yeah, no, we're the gentlemen. There's just things, and that's Cockney, whereas South London is all through the nose and it's all nasal. So and like South, like when we talk from South, we talk a bit like the words are all longer, and so I think the accent kind of lends itself to different types of slang and wordplay. And so I'm very proud of being from South London, and therefore very proud of the slang. We get or we used to get lots and lots of slang from the Americans, and now I think the British, we're coming up with our own slang, so we're not just copying everything that the Americans do. And so that's something that I'm quite proud and grateful for. I think, firstly, like as a writer, I will always try to entertain, and hopefully provoke thought. And so, like, if students take away from this story, like, this was quite fun, or I really like the characters, and walk away with a smile, then I'm cool with that. I'm like, job done. But I think, like, personally speaking, I think that my takeaway from the story is a bit of a generic kind of like never give up, and be confident in who you are, and tell the people you love how much they mean to you, and never judge. I think that those are the more very general. But I think specifically for me, sorry, it's Mr. X tells growls that people are like trees, that perfectly definitely a tree, but also flawed, full of color, but also with rough edges and rough parts. And I find myself walking down the street a lot, thinking like okay, like I am also a tree. Completely imperfect, and very definitely I am who I am, and people are people, and I think that's kind of like the big takeaway for me, and hopefully for other students is just that it's just people are amazing, people are wonderful, people are funny, people are sad, and the people you meet, hopefully. They are exactly who they are, and I think that's my biggest takeaway is people are people. I think there's a lot of divisiveness. I think in the world right now, and so that's again a bit general, but also sadly true. And so I think that's probably a good message. As well as don't give up. It's just remember that, like, people are people. Like, everyone is a living emotional being, except robots. So thank you, and I hope this video finds you well. And I hope I answered those questions, well enough. So thank you, and take care, everyone.